football. Thanksgiving weekend is over and we're back at it on a Manic and Panic Monday. Lot of football we got to get to today. College football. Lane Kiffin, he did what most of us expected to do, but was the timing right? And what does that say about loyalty amongst head coaches and these kids that they recruit in college football? We're going to get into that. Plus, college football playoff. The new rankings come out tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see where certain teams are going to get placed right before we get into these conference championship games next weekend. And in the NFL, the two best teams in the NFC took surprising losses. We're going to get into that. What about the AFC North? Is anybody going to win this division? And if so, who? And if whoever wins the division, will they even have a shot in the playoffs? We'll get into all that and a little bit more here on the Manic and Panic Monday edition of the Total Sports Ozone. Big O with the big mouth coming at you on a Monday, December 1st, 2025. And I hope all of you had a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. But now we're in the last month of the season. Oh, did you think this would be this fast? I know I didn't. But December is here. We're now in the holiday rush. And we at the end of the college football regular season. So, and I'm gonna just start off and say it. I'm happy. I'm smiling. Look at me, I'm smiling. Oh, I'm cheesing because my Ohio State Buckeyes exercised a very ugly demon this Saturday by going up to Ann Arbor and beating and giving that team up north a beatdown in their building. I am happy. I'm smiling. I cannot help it. It's always a good day when Ohio State beats Michigan. It's the I said it. I've said it to my friends over the weekend after Ohio State won. I said anything Ohio State does after this is extra gravy on the biscuits. That's all it is. Extra gravy on the biscuits. They win the Big Ten. Cool. They repeat as national championship. Great. But they did beat Michigan. And when you're a Buckeye fan like I am, that's the first step. That's the first step. But anything after that, any steps after that, it's just extra gravy on the biscuits, man. I am proud of them. Congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes exercising a 4-year demon, getting that monkey off Ryan Day's back, at least for now. And now they're moving on. And it's great they got that monkey off Ryan Day's back because as accomplished as he has been at Ohio State, the highest winning percentage amongst active coaches is that 1-4 record against that team up north that us Buckeye fans only are concerned with. Well, now he's 2-4, and we're just glad he got the 2, and we got that number 2 win. And like I said, everything after this, the Big Ten championship, the college football playoff, possibly a repeat as national champions, nothing but extra gravy on the biscuits, baby. Nothing but extra gravy on the biscuits. Congratulations to the Buckeyes. But that wasn't the big story this weekend in college football, as we all know. The big story was Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin. Now, how do I feel about the Lane Kiffin saga? Let's just see. He beats Ole Miss beats their rival, Mississippi State. Beat them up pretty bad. And then we're on right after that game, basically all of the college football world is on Kiffin watch. We're wondering when or if he's going to leave Ole Miss and how will all this play out. We all know Ole Miss is going to the college football playoff. And the big question was, if Lane Kiffin leaves and goes to LSU like it was wildly reported, will he still coach Ole Miss in the college football playoff? Well, Saturday night came, nothing, no news. Sunday morning came, still nothing. Then we hear if you on your social medias and I'm listening on the radio that Lane Kiffin is going to meet with his team at around early afternoon. So that basically tells you right there, if he has to meet with his team on a Sunday afternoon, right after they've beaten their arch rival, he's gone. He's gone. I knew it. I'm pretty sure you knew it. He's gone. By then, he's gone. Now, my feeling about it, and of course, he did leave. He signed with LSU to be their new head coach, and I believe he's getting a 7-year, $96 million contract to start the season, to be the head coach at LSU. Now, here's my feeling about the whole situation. I've listened to the college football media pundits. I listened to Paul Feinbaum. I've listened to Stephen A. Smith. I've listened and heard everybody's opinion about this whole Lane Kiffin saga. And here's how I feel about it. My personal 2 cents about it is this. I think Lane Kiffin's a punk. That's right, I said it. I think Lane Kiffin is a punk, disloyal punk. Forget the school. What about those kids? Those kids who went through all those practices, went through all that sweat, the OTAs, the spring practices, who came to Ole Miss to play for you, and you leave them high and dry right before them and right after their best season in decades, and they're about to play their most important games of their lives. College football playoff. These are the most important games these kids will probably ever play. At least most of them they will ever play in their lives. And their head coach bounces for the enemy, LSU. I just don't like the timing. I don't care about the fact that he's going to me, a better school. You know, they got better facilities, better resources, and all that good stuff. You know, LSU is a sort of college football blue blood. You know, I get that, but the timing sucks. Right before the college football playoffs, you do this? Yeah, I know that you got the transfer portal and the NIL and recruiting and all that, but you tell me that you couldn't have waited until after Ole Miss's season had ended before you pull this crap? I just don't get it. That's the part I don't get it. I think he is a disloyal punk. He is disloyal to those kids. Forget the school. Forget the school. Forget the mascot. Forget the administration. Those kids. Those kids that busted their ass for this coach. Laid it on the line for this coach. Yeah, I know some of these guys are getting paid, but still, they came to Ole Miss. I'm pretty sure it wasn't just for the money, because Ole Miss is not. I don't hear about Ole Miss shelling out buku dollars for their players. So it has to be they were there. The majority of those players were there for Lane Kiffin. And he bounces on them. After the best season they've had in who knows how long. I know it's the best season I've seen Ole Miss have in my lifetime. 11-1. And they came also close to winning that one. And then he bounces right before the playoffs. I know there's going to be some talk about should Ole Miss even be in the playoffs now that Lane Kiffin has gone to LSU. And I think that's a bunch of hooey. That coach wasn't out there on the field making those plays. That coach wasn't out there making those tackles, getting those runs, getting those touchdowns. Those kids were. And you cannot deny those kids. You should not deny those kids the opportunity to try to win a national championship just because their head coach bounced. Nuh-uh. Those kids deserve to be in the college football playoff at 11-1, and they should be in the college football playoff. I don't care if they get Humpty Dumpty to coach them. They deserve to be there and see what they can do. Now, Lane Kiffin, and no, Lane Kiffin shouldn't be allowed to coach Ole Miss. You want to sign with LSU? Go ahead. Go. But there ain't no way you're going to be sticking around. If I'm the administrator, you're not going to stick around my school and try to poach my players and these other coaches while we're trying to play for a national championship. No, that's not happening. Oh, no. You going to LSU? You going. Bye. Good luck. Thank you for everything you've done, and good luck. But you're not staying here to coach. Oh, no. For all I know, you might be trying to poach the players to come over to LSU. I'm pretty sure some of them players probably will after the season. I'm pretty sure of that. But it shouldn't happen now. He shouldn't be allowed to talk to him. He's not the coach of Ole Miss no more. He's the coach of LSU. He should not be even allowed in the facilities or near these kids or anything like that. Not now. He made his choice. There's no way I would have let him coach my team and you not signed with another team to be their coach. No, hell no. You're going. Bye. I'll pack your bags for you. No way. And I think Ole Miss did the right thing by it. You're not going to get nope. You're not going to have access to our players and the coaching staff while we're trying to get ready to play for a national championship going into these playoffs. And I think that's why I'm sorry. I think he's a punk. I think he's a big at time punk for doing what he did. That's just me. I think he's a punk and disloyal punk for leaving those kids right before the college football playoff. I just don't see that. I don't like it. And I think, I don't wish no ill will on them, but I hope when Ole Miss plays LSU next year, I hope they rub it down his throat for him just because he left them in the lurch like that. I don't care what he accomplished at Ole Miss. There should be a little bit of degree of loyalty. You finished what you started. He should have stayed and finished the season. No matter how it ended, he should have stayed and finished. 11-1, about to go into the college football playoff. Best season Ole Miss has had since, if I'm not mistaken, since probably JFK was president. I know I wasn't alive the last time Ole Miss was relevant on the college football landscape. I know I wasn't. And then he just, I don't get it. But I know money talks and BS walks. Plus, LSU has the facilities, they have the clout, as you would say, resources, what have you. I know that. He should have stayed. Should have stayed and finished what he started at Ole Miss. That's just how I feel about it. He should have stayed and finished what he started. How do you think? What do you think he should have did? Should he have stayed at least until they finish their season? Let me know. Hit me up with a comment, and don't forget, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And like I said, I do this for you guys. Big O with the big mouth. Total Sports Ozone. Staying in college football. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. College football playoff rankings. I believe this will be the next to last rankings released tomorrow night, because we got the conference championship games this weekend, and then next Sunday, I believe, they'll announce the 12-team college football playoff. I believe it will be next Sunday afternoon. So, rankings will be coming out tomorrow night. Now, here's the big stink. And I know y'all heard it. I've heard it enough this weekend. I know y'all heard it about Texas. Yes, Texas put it. Let's say they put it to Texas A&M. Great game. I enjoyed the game. Enjoyed watching it. Great game. Texas showed up. Arch Manning, he put the team on his back. Led them to victory. No doubt about it. But they're still 9-3. And I know y'all seen the little post-game press conference, that's the little rant Steve Sarkisian went on about how Texas belongs in the college football playoff based on who they've beaten and who Notre Dame has beaten and who Vanderbilt has beaten and Miami and the fact that Texas went to Ohio State, only lost by one score, outgained Ohio State by 200 yards, and blah. But one thing I didn't hear in all that ranting and raving was the fact that they lost to Florida. A 4-8 Florida team. You lost to them. And no, this is how I think. Ain't no way in hell Texas should belong in the college football playoff with 3 losses, when there are other teams have 2 or less losses. Vanderbilt, Miami, yes, Notre Dame. If Virginia wins, they getting in. There are several teams. I don't want to hear about strength of schedule. I don't want to hear about strength of record. I don't want to hear about none of that shit. You lost to Florida, Texas. If you were all that, why didn't you beat Florida? Hell, Florida State beat Florida. Tennessee went down there and whooped their ass. What happened with you, Texas? You pumping your chest about, you played Ohio State and lost only by 1 score, outgained them by 200 yards, and blah. Why the hell you do that to Florida? Why didn't you do that to Florida? Huh? I don't hear nothing about that from all these Texas fans and all these on the Twitter and all these social media platforms. I don't hear nothing about that Florida loss. All I hear about is the strength of record, the strength of schedule, about how they beat 3 ranked SEC teams and blah that. You lost to Florida. A bad, and I mean bad, Florida team. No, you ain't getting punished for losing to Ohio State. Ohio State's the number 1 team in the country. After they beat y'all, that's where they've been all year. And they still there. You ain't getting punished for that. I don't even know where where the coach come out thinking they're being punished for losing to Ohio State. If anything, you're being rewarded for having the guts to go to Columbus and play the Ohio State Buckeyes, the defending national champions, on week 1. And you only lost by 7 points. You're not getting punished for that. You're getting punished because you lost to Florida. You lost to Florida. That's what I see you getting punished for if you don't get into the playoffs. Now, I know there's a lot of pundits think Texas should make the playoffs. If Alabama didn't get to the playoffs after losing 3 games last year, what makes Texas think they that special? What makes Texas think they that special? Alabama had 3 losses last year. They were out. They put in SMU. SMU, the team that lost the ACC championship game. Alabama didn't even get to the SEC championship game last year. They put SMU in because at the very least they said, at least SMU played in their conference championship game. They played 1 extra game. Texas, you're not playing no more games until you find out what bowl game you're going to. If you go to the playoffs, you're not playing the extra game this weekend. So don't give me this noise about you deserve to get in with 3 losses. That 1 loss, you lost to Florida, and then you got boat raced by Georgia. That's right there. That's a done deal to me. Done deal. You're done. You're out. It's bad enough you got boat raced on national TV by Georgia, but then you lost to Florida. And you lost to Florida before you lost to Georgia. That Florida loss, in my estimation, that did it for y'all weeks ago. I didn't give a damn who you beat the rest of the schedule. The rest of your schedule. I didn't care who you beat. I didn't care about you beating Oklahoma. I didn't care about you beating Vanderbilt. I didn't care about none of that. When you lost to Florida, that was it. That was 2 losses, and that was a bad loss. Because Florida wasn't shit. And you lost to them. Tennessee didn't. Florida State didn't. So, if those 2 teams, who ain't no better than you, can go down to the swamp and beat Florida, and you couldn't, don't talk to me about playoffs. Don't give a damn what your record is. That's what I'm saying. That's what I feel as far as what Steve Sarkisian is saying about Texas' chances or Texas deserving to make the playoffs. Bullshit. When you lost to Florida, that was it. In my eyes, and a whole lot of people's eyes, when you lost to Florida, a bad Florida team, that was it. Show's over for you. You're going to one of them thank you for playing bowls. That's where you do. That's where you deserve. That's what you belong. That's where you belong. To one of them thank you for playing bowls. And I don't care just about your strength of schedule, strength of record, this and that. I don't care about that. You're supposed to beat teams like Florida. If you are a national championship caliber team like you say you are, those are the teams you're supposed to beat. See, that's why nobody can talk real too much smack about Ohio State other than the fact that you don't like them. Ohio State has beaten. They may not have a strong strength of record, strength of schedule. Who cares? They beat everybody they're supposed to beat. And they did it by double digits. They beat everybody on their schedule. Good, bad, or indifferent. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if they were good, not so good, sucked. They beat them. They went out there and took care of business. Texas, you did not do that against Florida. You did not. If you are a national championship caliber team, like you say you are, you're supposed to take care of business against teams like Florida. You didn't. So don't talk to me about the playoffs. Nope. You're going to be at home watching them just like all the other ones. That's just how I see it. You do not deserve to make the college football playoff. You don't deserve it. Not when you can't beat teams like Florida. You don't deserve it. I believe Vanderbilt should get in over you guys. Miami definitely. Hell, they beat Notre Dame. If Notre Dame getting in, Miami should get in. If Notre Dame get in, Miami should get in. That's the way I see it. If Notre Dame in, Miami should get in. But Texas, no way, no way. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Not with that loss to Florida. Don't, like I said, you're not getting punished for losing to Ohio State. You're getting punished for losing to Florida. That's your punishment. Next year, beat those teams. Beat teams you're supposed to beat. That's how you assure yourself of getting into the college football playoff. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Big O with the big mouth. College football, Total Sports Ozone. Let's shift up and talk NFL. Those big games this weekend. From Thanksgiving on through the weekend. Cowboys. People gonna have to look out for them. I said in one of my previous podcasts that if the Cowboys can win 2 of the next 3 games, I said that late last week, if they can win 2 of the next 3 games, they got a realistic shot at making the playoffs. Well, guess what? They did that. They won 2 games in a week against the teams that were in last year's Super Bowl. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles last Sunday, and then on Thanksgiving, they outlasted the Kansas City Chiefs. So now they're sitting at 6-5, and you're thinking, well, the Eagles, they got a good, comfortable lead. They should be all right. And then the Eagles turn around and get ran over, literally ran over by the Chicago Bears. I mean, they literally got ran over by the Chicago Bears. To the tune of giving up 281 yards on the ground to the Bears. Almost 300 yards they gave up on the ground to the Chicago Bears. They allowed 2 running backs for the Bears to have 100-yard games. Unbelievable. Kyle Manungai, the rookie running back for the Bears, 130 yards on 22 carries and a touchdown. Nice and healthy, just under 6 yards a carry. 5.9 yards a carry. He ran over under and threw him. And then DeAndre Swift, don't forget about him. 125 yards on only 18 carries and a touchdown. Right there. That's 255 yards from those 2. Just from them 2 running backs. Caleb Williams didn't have to do too much. He didn't. But he didn't have the greatest of numbers. He was under 50% passing. And he did throw 1 interception, but it didn't hurt him. He did throw a touchdown, but he didn't have to do too much. All he had to do was turn around and hand the ball off. And it was working. It worked. I've never seen the Eagles, at least the Eagles of the modern time, get that pumped and bullied at the line of scrimmage by any team, especially in their house, especially in their home. I haven't seen that in years, decades even, to see any team come into Philly and punk them the way they did. But that's exactly what the Chicago Bears did. They literally punked and bullied the Philadelphia Eagles in their house. Which begs the question, what's wrong with the Eagles? Offensively, they just look disjointed. it looked like they're just not on the same page. They can't run the ball too well. They haven't been running the ball that well all year. Saquon Barkley only hit 56 yards on 13 totes. And most of that was a little late. It was like too little, too late. Jalen Hurts, he threw 2 touchdowns. One of them was like in desperation. AJ Brown, he had 132 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it just seems like the Eagles offense took too long to get going in this game. I wonder if it was because the way Chicago was controlling the ball. When you run the ball that well, you keeping that other team's offense off the field. But the clock's running, you getting those possessions, you moving those chains. And it seemed like the Eagles could not get going until it was too late. And by then, all the Bears had to, and then the ill-timed turnovers. And so all the Bears had to do was just keep doing what they were doing. Feed the beasts. And they had 2 beasts, Monangai and Swift, and they kept feeding them. And the Eagles were, I don't know if they were powerless to stop them or they just didn't want them. I don't know. But if you watched the game, you heard the boos. You heard those boo birds come out. And there was a lot to boo about if you're an Eagles fan. So again, the question is, what's wrong with the Eagles? What can be done to fix them? What can be done to fix the Eagles? I don't know. I don't know if they need to sit down, have a team meeting. It's just the offense and the defense is slipping. I haven't seen the defense has been slipping ever since the second half of the Eagles Cowboys game. That defense has slipped big time. The last couple of games, the teams have been running all over them, and they've allowed the last 2 games almost 800 yards in total offense. They allowed over 800 yards in total offense the last 2 games. That defense that was really a linchpin for them winning the Super Bowl last year. Seems like we got a few cracks in the armor this year. I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know if it's schemes. They just seems like they're just the whole team. For a team that's 8-4, they seem like they're playing like they're 4-8. Last few weeks, they've been playing like they're 4-8. Weird, isn't it? On offense, it just seems like they're not starting fast. If I'm correct to say that. It's like they take too long to get going, to get the offense flow, to get the offense in sync, to get Saquon Barkley in sync with, and Jalen Hurts to get in sync with his receivers. It just takes too long. It's like they wait until almost halftime before they finally that offense finally wakes up. You cannot do that. You can't play like that. Now, when they played the Cowboys, the first quarter, they were just monsters. Out 21-0 before if you blinked the wrong way. But ever since then, the offense has just not been able to get going. It's been like dysfunctional. It's like a clock that's like a minute behind and stays a minute behind. And no matter what you do, no matter how many times you set that clock to the right time, it falls a minute behind. And then you set it again, and it falls back behind. Now it's falling back 2 minutes behind. And then you set it again, and it's falling back again 2 minutes behind. And you're like, what the hell is wrong with it? But you can't throw the clock away. Clocks make too much money. it's a strange revelation in Philadelphia right now. That they're 8-4, yet they don't look like a 8-4 team. You know what I'm saying? They're 8-4, but they don't look. And I'm pretty sure they don't feel like they're 8-4. And if they don't correct this soon, if they don't right this wrong pretty soon, they're gonna be looking at the Cowboys coming up on their rearview mirror. You know that one mirror that's on your car that says object and mirror are closer than they appear. That's the Cowboys right now. I know they're only a game. I know they're a game and a half behind, but the I have to say the defense has improved, and their offense is looking like it's hard to stop with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Ante Smith, Ferguson. They look like an offense that, if they can stay healthy, is not going to be stopped by too many teams left on their schedule. So if the Eagles and if the Eagles don't get out of this little offensive tailspin they're in, they could rightfully see the Cowboys catch them and pass them. I'm not going to put that out of the realm of possibility. Because right now, if I'm looking at it, the Cowboys stock is rising, and the Eagles stock, I'm not going to say is falling, but it ain't moving. It's like steady. And right now, they don't need to be steady. They need to be still trending up, because the Cowboys are trending up. If they pick up, and if they get this win next weekend in Detroit, and if the Eagles don't right this wrong with the problem with their offense and their defense, who knows? Who knows? There's plenty of football left, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, I would not be surprised in the least if the Cowboys catch the Eagles. If the Eagles don't get out of this tailspin they're in on their offensive side of the ball. What do you think? Let me know. Drop me a comment. Don't forget the like and subscribe button. Big O with the big mouth. Total Sports Ozone. Let's move on. If y'all don't know by now, I hate the Steelers. I hate their ass. I hate them. Yes, I hate the Steelers. I make no bones about that. I really do. I don't like them. Never liked them. You couldn't pay me to like the Steelers with your money. But I'm wondering about them because the Steelers got destroyed yesterday in their home by the Buffalo Bills. So I'm worried. I'm wondering about them. I mean, they started the season 4-1. What happened? And what's happening? And when did the Steelers? When did they stop stopping the run? When did they stop learning how to stop the run? That's what I want to say. When did this happen? Because all my life growing up, pretty much, here the Steelers, you think of a tough defense. A real tough defense, hard to run against. Steel curtain, that's what they call it. They can get after the quarterback. They can stop the run. The defense always kept the offense, the team in games, whether the offense was a little shaky or whether they were humming along. That defense was always, you could always count on that defense to make the plays they needed to make. That's not happening this year. That's not happening, and I don't know why. Is it been some kind of major injury I don't know about on this team? Or is it personnel? They still have TJ Watt, correct? And what's the problem? Is it that they're getting old? I believe the Steelers are, if I heard once, the Steelers are the oldest or second oldest team in the National Football League. Well, whose fault is that? And on offense, Aaron Rodgers, he's not that Aaron Rodgers. Let's just face it. Let's just face it. If you're still a fan, you got to know what I'm talking about. You have to know I'm telling the truth. You got to know that. When you see Aaron Rodgers out there, you're not seeing Aaron Rodgers. You're seeing the shell of Aaron Rodgers. You're seeing pretty much the end. It looks like it's the end. He can say what he wants. But if you don't see how he's playing out there, I mean, yesterday, 10 for 21 for 117 yards, not a touchdown, no interceptions. That was it. And he took one nasty hit. I know he took not one nasty hit. Had bleeding coming out of his nose or his forehead or something. And he had to come out of I think a series. So I don't know. Maybe this is the end for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. It sounds like it. It sounds like it. It sounds like that's the end. I don't know. It would be a shame for him to go out like that, though. I think Aaron Rodgers, for all he's done, he deserves better. But I mean, his receiving core. Where the hell is DK Metcalf? 32 yards on only 3 catches. Where you at? Darnell Washington, 45 yards on 2 catches. I mean, they don't have too many good receivers, but DK Metcalf is one of the. He was damn good in Seattle. I don't know what happened to him in Pittsburgh. I don't know. I have no idea. So this team, they're just too old. I'm just gonna put it like that. They're too old for anybody to believe in them going forward as doing anything as far as playoffs, Super Bowl. They're just too old. And they're playing like it. They're playing like they're too old. Young Buffalo Bills squad, Josh Allen ran all over them. The young guy, James Cook, 144 yards, 32 carries. He ran all over them. Josh Allen, I think he had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. He ran all over him and threw all over him. Or he didn't have to throw it too much. When you're giving up on 250 yards rushing on the ground, all you got to do is just take care of the ball, right? That's exactly what the Bills did. And they ran all over them. I just think the Steelers are too old. They are. I believe, first or second oldest team in the National Football League. And it shows in the way they're playing. Now, I heard this morning on First Take that there's been some grumblings that Mike Tomlin should be let go. No, he ain't the problem. Personnel. He ain't the problem. Who put the team together? That's who should be let go. Whoever the director of operation or general manager of that team, he the one put the team together. Did he not? He should be let go. You what are you trying to do? Recreate the over the hill game? Watching Redskins from the late 70s? Is that what you're trying to do? If you're the Steelers brain trust, are you trying to recreate the over the hill game? Different era. It's not gonna work this year. It's not gonna work in this era. I don't know what the Steelers are gonna do to fix all this. But the crazy thing about all that, this team still might make the playoffs. Why? This team might still win the division. Why? Because the Ravens didn't look much better when they got beat by the Bengals on Thanksgiving night. As a matter of fact, it would be safe to say that the Ravens looked worse than the Steelers did. I don't know. Both those teams right now sitting at 6-6. And they both play each other twice. If I'm not mistaken, they play each other twice down the stretch of the end of the regular season. The question is, could you believe in either one of those two teams coming out of the AFC North? I wouldn't. I couldn't. Like I said, the Steelers are old, and the Ravens are too inconsistent. The Ravens, they started off slow, then they come on like comebacks, and then this. You know, they got to get a little bit more consistency on both sides of the ball. The Ravens does, for me to believe in them. And the Steelers, like I said, they're just too old. They're just old. And they got to get younger. I mean, didn't anybody tell them that football is a young man's game? I mean, I don't know too many people playing quarterback other than Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco over 40. But I mean, you could. I guess if you feel you can do it, ain't nothing wrong with trying to do it. But still, the Steelers are just old everywhere on that team. Offensive line, both lines, linebacker. They're trying to get younger than linebackers, Jack Sawyer and everything, but they need to get a little bit more speed at linebacker. They don't have that, which is mean that you know. So I can't trust neither one of these teams to make any damage, whichever team comes out of the AFC North. And you can't forget about the Bengals. I know they're 4-8, but they got Burrow back. They got Joe Burrow back, and if he can even remotely stay healthy, you can't. And on the way the Bengals defense played against the Ravens on Thanksgiving, if they can get that kind of consistent play on defense with Joe Burrow back and those receivers he has, don't count out the Bengals either. Not just yet. Not just yet. I know they're 4-8, but I wouldn't count them out yet because they're only 2 games behind both the Ravens and the Steelers. So don't count out the Bengals, but one of these two teams need to take charge of this division. The Steelers, the Ravens. One of those two teams needs to take charge before I can believe in either one of them doing any kind of damage in the playoffs if they get there. One of them has to show me they can take charge of this division. And right now, both of them got so many issues. You know, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he's playing through injury. You can tell it. You can tell he's playing through his injury. He's not fully healthy. And that's throwing off the whole offense. Their defense, they still need to get some pieces back on their defense. The Steelers, I don't know. They need to drink from the fountain of youth. Specifically Aaron Rodgers. They need to make some trips to the fountain of youth and take a few sips from that well. Otherwise, like I said, I'm not feeling either one of them coming out of the AFC North as doing any damage in the AFC playoffs. I just don't feel it. Big O with the big mouth, Total Sports Ozone. Now, let me get to one more thing. Yeah. I didn't want to bring this up because I know they're going to be, but I am a Browns fan, so I have to bring it up. Browns got beat yesterday, 49ers. I wasn't expecting them to win, but here we go with the haters and the poo-pooers saying Shedeur Sanders should be benched. They should put back Dylan Gabriel back as starting quarterback. You guys got to understand something. The Browns stink. They stunk going into this season. It's not like they were just started to stink. They stunk all year, with the exception of the defense and Myles Garrett. They stunk all year, and we knew this. If you're a Browns fan, you knew you were going to suck. And everybody thinking it's because we don't have a quarterback and this and that. Well, it may be, but there's one good thing a quarterback needs to have. A wide receiver to throw the damn ball to! Possibly two! The Browns don't have that! They don't have an ace wide receiver. I don't want to hear about Jerry Jeudy. Like I said before, there is a reason why Denver gave up on him. That means we took Denver's leftovers. And you see what's happening. The Browns do not have a legitimate wide receiver on the roster. They don't. They don't have that one receiver that can put fear in the hearts of the defensive secondary. They don't have that. Not a one of a receiver on the Brown team scares anybody. There's not one wide receiver or tight end on this team that you need to game plan for. Not one. And that is why the quarterbacks cannot put up numbers. Shedeur Sanders, he's trying, but he is also a rookie. He's going to make rookie mistakes. His biggest mistake right now is he holds on to the ball too long. And for that, he's going to get sacked. And he's going to get sacked a lot until he learns. But what would help him from not holding on to the ball too long is if his damn wide receivers could get open. But we don't have any wide receivers that can get open. We don't have wide receivers that can make big time plays downfield on a consistent basis. We don't have that. We don't have Lamar Chase. We don't have T. Higgins. We don't have Justin Jefferson. We don't have wide receivers like that. We don't. And until they learn to get receivers like that, what good is the quarterback going to be? What good is it going to be? Let me know. Somebody let me know. Let me know how good Shedeur Sanders can be when he ain't got a wide receiver to throw the damn ball to. And he's a rookie. I'm telling you as sure as I'm sitting here. If the Browns, they have 2 first-round picks next year, right? I don't know if they're going to draft the quarterback. I think if they do, they're stupid. But if they do, whether they draft the quarterback or not, one of their first-round picks needs to go towards a wide receiver. And don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. There's a great wide receiver about 2.5 hours down the street, down I-71. Plays at Ohio State. I think his number 17. His name is Carnell Tate. He's one of the best wide receivers in the country. You might want to think about drafting him. I'm just saying. You might want to think about it. Because what good is your quarterback? I don't care if you got a new one. I don't care if you draft a new one or go with one of these 2 you got now. What good are they going to be if you ain't got nobody throwing the ball? What good are they? They ain't going to be no good. You got to give the quarterback somebody he can rely on to catch that damn ball, especially deep. Deep, intermediate, don't matter. That's what the team needs. They need that long breaking wide receiver. You had one and you let him go. Why? Because he was too old, he was too injury prone. You had Amari Cooper. But you didn't want to hang on to him. At least for another year. Nope. But you did nothing to replace him. You thought it would be Jerry Jeudy? Like I said, there is a reason why Denver gave him up for a couple of bags of stale chips and a warm soda. Y'all bid on that. So now, and you're never going to get no big time wide receiver in free agency. Nobody want to come to Cleveland. So the only way you're going to get decent wide receivers is through the draft. And guess what? There's one that's going to be coming out in next year's draft from the school that plays 2.5 hours away from you. His name is Carnell Tate. Remember that? Carnell Tate. I'm saying it slowly. Carnell Tate. Go get him. I don't give a damn if you draft another quarterback or not with one of your first round picks. But the other first round pick better go to a receiver. Get Carnell Tate. Get Carnell Tate. Get Carnell Tate. Well, that's the end of my time here today on the Total Sports Ozone. Tomorrow, we're going to delve into a little bit of the matchups in the conference championship games. I'm not going to make my picks. We're just going to go over the matchups and see how where is it leaning towards. And as we'll talk, we'll get into who I think will be in the college football playoff as far as the next rankings, which come out tomorrow night. We'll get into all that. Plus, we'll recap tonight's Monday Night Football game. I believe it's the Patriots against the Giants. Drake May. Woo, boy. They got a chance to be sitting all by themselves atop the AFC if they pull out a win tonight. Oh, yeah, and it's Top 5 Tuesday. Give you my top 5 teams in both college football and in the NFL. We'll do all that tomorrow. Right here on the Total Sports Ozone. Have a good day.